Dear Naruto Lemon fans, I'm thrilled to invite all of you to my Boosty channel, where you can enjoy exclusive Naruto Lemon scenes in a comfortable and supportive community. Choose from various subscription tiers, from Mini Lemon to God Lemon, and gain access to unique content tailored just for our fans. Plus, subscribers to over Naruto Lemon and God Lemon will receive special mentions in my videos. Support my channel and dive deeper into the world of Naruto today. Dare. A young man with long black hair and matching eyes looked at the leaflet with interest. An approving smirk graced his lips. If any of his superiors had seen him, they would have killed him on the spot. Ni-san, did they really give out a reward for Naruto-chan again? A boy, somewhat younger but very similar to him, entered the man's office. Yeah. Izuna, have you seen the reward itself? The guard handed his brother a leaflet. Uchiha Madara grinned proudly, watching his younger brother's eyes widen to saucers. 1.5 billion bellies? Izuna exclaimed, looking at his brother in shock. And the title of 5th Yonko. Funny, huh? Madara looked at the younger man with interest. He swallowed hard. Now, just thinking about how I once bullied her makes me feel a little sick, he muttered, and immediately noticed how his brother's black eyes had turned blood red. Say that again, the man asked peacefully. Izuna, sensing danger to his own life, hurried to retreat. And as quickly as possible. He still wanted to live. After all, Uzumaki Naruto is a pirate, a girl and the lover of Uchiha Madara, the vice admiral of the Marines. Hey, lookouts, is that all you can do? The blonde exclaimed cheerfully and playfully, her blue eyes sparkling with excitement. Her chapped lips were spread into a wide grin. That fox is unbearable. Obito Uchiha hissed, watching with a hidden smirk as Uzumaki Naruto beat up his men. He was baffled. What did Madara see in this pirate? Yes, she was strong, interesting, and incredibly charming, but still, what was so special about her? He would never understand his older brother. Hey, Obito-kun, say hi to Dara. She practically materialized in front of the Marine captain. Where else would I go? Go ahead, I'll pretend I didn't notice you rushing right past my nose, the Uchiha muttered. I owe you one, the blonde chuckled and vanished, leaving the young captain in a good mood. Naruto herself found herself on her ship, called Konoha. Two people immediately rushed toward her, a pink-haired girl and a brunette. Uzumaki, how many times do I have to tell you, don't go looking for trouble when you're wounded, the girl growled, slapping her frivolous captain. She only smiled broadly. Oh, come on, Sakura-chan. I'm fine, I just need to change my bandage, and she got hit on the head again, only this time by the brunette. Don't be silly, Dobe. We're worried, the Uchiha said sullenly, folding his arms across his chest. I know, Taiome. No need to repeat it 100 times a day, the pirate snorted, heading to Haruno's cabin to change the bandages. The medic hurried after her. Madara looked at the report with irritation, holding a cigarette between his fingers. Obito had been seriously injured while swimming back to headquarters. Well, at least he'd met Naruto. The Uchiha sighed and stubbed out his cigarette. He hadn't seen his idiot for a long time. They hadn't seen each other in the last few months, all because he'd been swamped with work. Paperwork, at that. And he hated it, even though he was a responsible worker. The Uchiha sighed, then leaned back in his chair and stared at the ceiling. Naruto's words, spoken long ago, came back to him. Listen, why don't you come with me to the sea? I wonder why he refused back then. Now he'd say, yes, without a doubt, just to avoid sitting here. A pirate's life is definitely better and more colorful. If he'd agreed back then, he'd be lounging in bed with his beloved now, not all this. He closed his eyes wearily. He was an idiot. Although, how was he to know that in the future he would fall head over heels for this blonde disaster? He seemed lost in thought. He should be working, not thinking about his favorite pirate. Naruto Uzumaki hated her heritage with every fiber of her being. Oh, how she despised those norms, politeness, and etiquette. She would do anything to avoid hearing about it. Yes, Naruto Uzumaki belonged to an aristocratic family. True, only in name. When the little girl was only 5 years old, her parents died. Because of the Marines, who decided that Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze were criminals, rebels. There was no evidence to support this accusation. But they did it anyway. Naruto was sent to an orphanage, but she was there for only a week. She was adopted by a Marine family. The Uchiha family. At first, Naruto didn't open up to her new family. But 2 of them finally managed to reach her, though only after 6 months. Mikoto-san and Obito didn't give up hope of befriending what was practically the only girl in the family, not counting Mikoto herself. Little by little, Naruto began to become herself, a radiant girl. At 8, she no longer remembered losing her parents. True, that's what the Uchihas think, although the little girl remembers everything perfectly well. At 9, Uzumaki's personal hell began. Mikoto-san and Fugaku-san insisted, mindful of their daughter's origins, that she needed to be made into a real lady. And Naruto endured. At 12, she ran away for the first time. And she met them. The 3 Sannin. The pirates. And in that moment, she knew what she was meant to become. The only people who knew about the girl's dream of piracy were Sasuke, Obito, and Madara. She didn't trust Izuna, and he bullied her too often. As for Itachi, she was fine with him, except he was already considered a member of the Marines, and she was a bit afraid to tell him about her dream. At 15, Uzumaki realized she was in love. And with no one but her. She, fool that she was, had fallen in love with Madara. In those moments, she was immensely grateful for the ethics lessons and other such nonsense, because they distracted her from her thoughts. Around this time, Uzumaki started getting chased by suitors. So, the blonde decided to agree to a so-called date just once. The suitor ended up running away in tears because Madara had driven him to such a state. Naruto had no idea where he'd sprung from. But she did receive what her boyfriend claimed was a slap on the wrist. Obito, having heard his stepsister's story, laughed for a long time, imagining the face of that gentleman. "Listen, our gloomy fox is jealous," he laughed, completely oblivious to how the blonde blushed. In any case, these words made Uzumaki pause, and Obito glanced at her with a slightly worried expression. Not only he, but Madara as well. The Uchiha family's eldest son was losing his nerve by the end of the day. He simply couldn't stand being completely ignored, and considering the blonde was on a date, or rather, wasn't, but who cares, with some impudent creature, he was doubly angry. So he decided to do it simply in his way. He kissed her, then went to his parents and declared that Naruto was his property and he had no intention of giving her up. After the kiss, the girl, still a child at the time, fainted. This happened again when Madara declared her his. However, the Uchiha later received a scolding from her. And a few days later she asked completely unexpectedly, "Listen, why don't you come with me to the sea?" Madara only chuckled at this statement, refusing. And the next day, a note was found that Naruto and Sasuke were going to sea to pirate. Madara merely sighed sadly, shaking his head. He should have known better. That Naruto. Naruto gazed, mesmerized, at the surface of the water, which was unusually clear today. No matter how many years passed, she still couldn't get enough of admiring the oceans and seas. "Hey, Naruto," Ino, the ship's navigator, approached her captain. "Your hair has grown to your shoulders. Should I get a trim while I still have time?" she said with a smile, holding up the scissors in her hands. Naruto grinned gratefully and nodded. Many years ago, her wheat-colored hair reached mid-thigh, but now it's cut almost like a boy's. Although, why, almost? That's exactly it. A lot changes over the years. The only thing that hasn't changed is Naruto and Madara's love. And this brings a slight chuckle to both of them. Uzumaki. Uchiha Sasuke growled angrily, chasing his childhood friend across the deck of the ship. Naruto laughed heartily, holding a katana in her hands. Sakura, watching all this, smiled cheerfully. How funny these two are, huh? Naruto is so happy today. A blonde woman approached the medic, smiling as she watched her friends run. What did you expect? After a long time, she finally meets her man. Haruno grinned slyly, watching Yamanaka's face lengthen. We didn't have time to tell you, my dear Ino, I'm so sorry. Our captain's favorite man is Uchiha Madara. The medic chuckled, starting to gather her short pink hair into a bun. Okay, I'm off. Get out of shock, or you'll faint. She left, waving. Ino blinked and stared at the running blonde. Who would have thought she had a boyfriend, and a sentry at that? Yamanaka smiled. Uzumaki Naruto never ceases to amaze. The marine ship is in sight. Hinata exclaimed from the crow's nest. Naruto slammed on the brakes, as did Sasuke. Tossing her katana to her friend, she raced toward the bow of the ship. She always knew where to run to spot her lover's ship. And this time, she didn't miss. A marine ship was visible on the horizon. A couple of minutes later, the ships were facing each other. But Naruto, being Naruto, couldn't resist and rushed forward. And within moments, she was embracing her man. Naruto, this is indecent. Madara protested, though he was already hugging his beloved pirate. Don't grumble, you can't fool me. You would probably have done the same yourself, the girl chuckled, pressing herself closer to the Uchiha. Truth be told, these two are happy. Yes, they chose different paths, but that doesn't stop them from being together. After all, let history know that such an unusual duo exists, the Watcher and the Pirate. End.